Alright. So when you see Doom Mac here, the pistol recoil patch, basically it's got the Mac and then it overwrote. The patch overwrote. So it could have that reduced recoil, because without the reduced recoil patch, the weapon is uncontrollable. Got the MP7, the MP7 expanded, the MPX, of course the hunting shotgun by Deadpool. We have the custom Mossberg. So now you're seeing how I've gone from submachine guns to shotguns as groupings. Okay, so I've got the Mossberg. And now I'm moving from shotguns to you know, I guess machine guns. So you got the Gatling rifle. This is the man-portable smaller Gatling rifle. That's not quite like the minigun. A little bit lighter. Doesn't require Idiot Savant to build. I got my Chinese assault rifle standalone with the animations. So you'll see that in weapons, what I'll do is I've got even broken down into different categories here. So pistols and submachine guns, heavy weapons and shotguns, explosives, energy, and then weapons. Pretty much everything that's up here is machine guns. So this is the one that I would activate first, and then I would just start to overwrite with my patches. They kind of give it expansions, another magazine, and then I would go to the top with animation and make sure I load my animations last, and it overwrites. So that's pretty much when it just says WDCK ANIMS version 2.1. That's actually the whole grouping that I just showed you for the Chinese assault rifle, about overwriting one after the other. Okay, my Chinese assault rifle add-on material fix, my AKM, which I may or may not take out. I love the SIG 550. I love the G36. I got the G36 expanded. I've got the FAMAS, which I could maybe take out. The service rifle I'm not going to take out. Wasteland Melody's service rifle, not any other version, because that's not going to be compatible with the service rifle extension project, or expansion project rather. The one click could just ruin it all. Alright. So I got my RU-556 and the expansion. So this can actually go up here. Because keeping things in order is critical. Okay, and this should chamber it for 7.62, my RU-556. And give me tags and leveled lists or reference lists, INNR. I forget precisely what that means, but we'll get into that in a minute. The Armory project, so that gives me even more stuff for the RU-556. More textures. The FN FAL SA58, it's got several different ways to build that gun, from everything like the Israeli IMI to the kind of like a G3 variant, like the German G3 or the Belgian FN FAL. I've got my SCAR. Now you can see where here it says SCAR L, but I've got SCAR H as my final, because again, Probably down here at the bottom. Sniper rifles, pistols and machine guns, heavy weapons and shotguns. Okay, so basically with Scar H, and Scar H AR rechamber VISG, Scar H, so this is going to give me tagging. It's going to give me more caliber, so I'll be able to fire 308, 5.56, and 7.62 through Scar's H through L. Okay, the hotfix, the rechamber, and then the better locational damage patch. This is the armor keyword, so it'll be assigned to the right workbench. Now I moved on to my sniper rifles. So we've got the Macmillan, which I could take out. And again, you'll see that it's the Macmillan base plus all the other little things that give it the extra touches as overwrites. And I'll worry about optics later, but I think I did put so I've already got my Macmillan coverless scope in there. Okay. Okay, this dank CS5 INNR is just instance naming rules. And what I'll do is I'll combine these into merged plugins to make sure that better locational damage fits with Armorsmith, fits with or AWKCR, the Armorsmith, so it goes to the right workbench, it uses the right materials, and then it has the proper leveled list override. So all my leveled lists are in a single patch. Okay, we've got the WA Walther WA 2000. Now here's my 50 calibers. We're moving into the heavier guns now. My AMR, the AX50, the receivers and fixers for the AMR. Of course, I love the Remington 700. That's the normal scope, hunting rifle in the game, but I've changed it up a little bit, adding enough mods to turn it into that black kind of SWAT style sniper rifle I could use early in the game. It'll fire, I believe, 308. I've been trying to write a patch for it to get it to fire a couple of different types of rounds. Because, you know, your hunting rifles, one thing that's really missed and overlooked in the game a lot is the 4570 round, which is a really heavy, it's a little bit slower velocity than, say, something like the 308. But it delivers a lot more power, and that's typically the round that you would find in the lever action rifle from Far Harbor. Now this is my big gun, my anti-tank, and again you're going to see how that's overwritten with many things. Let's get down to the anti-tank. Okay, so we've got all these things in here. No turret. So we start with the archive, add the turret patch, the texture. Make sure we don't have anything in the bottom here. So yeah, we got leveled lists, magazine fix. So this should all kind of write over that same piece. Mag fix. Now this is my the dank leveled list injection dummy list is kind of like basically a template that I'm going to use for my own level lists, so I can pull what he has for, say, like gunners, raiders, whatever, and what goes in their leveled lists, and then I can add these additional weapons, and basically I've got a template to follow. Okay, and then these are my patches. Now, Lost should cover a couple of things. It should cover better locational damage, and it should cover VISG tagging. So I've got my P220, my MP7 done, my AKM done, my MPX done, the SIG 550 done, the Chinese assault rifle, the FAMAS, the G36, the service rifle and all of its expansions with the patches there. Then my FN FAL for the SA58, CS5 for the Macmillan, the 50 caliber from Fallout 4, the 50 caliber with that big ass suppressor that you saw me use in Season 5, the untested WA 2000, my throwing weapons patch, my remote explosives patch. Now this is where I'm modifying basically weapon damages. Like my remote explosives patch, since I want it to kind of fall in alignment with what I would find in Better Explosives Redo. Better Explosives Redo does not cover remote explosives. Hunting shotgun, the Mossberg 590, my big ass anti-tank rifle, and then I had to write patches for my energy weapons. Wrote my own patch for my Mac 11. Wrote patch for the Gatling rifle. Okay, the see-through scopes replacer patch, and then at the very end, the Armorsmith and VISG tweaks, because you want that to overwrite everything. Now, there's going to be plenty of things I'm missing in there. Right now, I'm at 178 plugins. It says I've got 146 active mods, but the way that some of these are bundled, clearly there's a lot more mods than that in there. We're probably like, I don't know, with things like merged fixes, and let me just give you an idea. And this is what we're talking about here. This is how many mods just are in this one pack here. So you really need to, what I really like to do is give credit. And all these mods here are incorporated into my game. Alright. So you've noticed kind of like what I did was go through my weapons first. Because what I'm going to try and do is bash the patches together to get the most amount in. It's like, what do I really need? Do I really need the UMP? No, because I've got the MP7. You know, do I really need the MP5? Maybe. Do I need the grease gun? Not really. That would be something that I would give to raiders or something, and pipe weapons will be fine. The Glock 19, pretty cool. The Browning high power, I love that gun. But you'll know from past seasons that I rely very heavily on my P220. So this would be adding a new ammo type. Now I always try and kind of keep my variety of ammunition down to the bare minimum of what I would actually have to add to the game. So as it presently stands, I have rockets and missiles. So rockets would be something fired from an RPG. Missiles would be something fired from the missile launcher off the shoulder. So they've got two different blast radiuses, two different damages, two different things that need to be examined in that way. Now I'm not going to add any more weapons in right now until I can make sure that I can get these bashed down. Into something that just fits in a single package. Okay, so I definitely kind of am going to want one of these katanas, because I had the idea of playing a ninja type of character to really test the light and shadow. Let's see what this gyrojet heavy machine gun is. Yeah, you need to put it in your notepad first. I think this is an older mod. Now, generally you can go into here and see where it's based off of. Okay, this would be the weapon we're looking at here. Uniquely fires .51 gyrojet rounds. So the reason I'm not adding it is because it requires a different ammo. So while it might be cool and all, too much of a pain in the ass to deal with for me for right now. Let's get the basics done. Now this nuke mod, I'll add this later. This is where I can use that targeting. You would have seen it in Season 5, right before Strange Love. You can actually see me nuke a target downtown. Okay. I've decided to skip the full Assad grenade launcher and just stick with my single breach action grenade launcher, because it requires, again, a different type of ammunition. Now this is one thing that I want to make kind of Well, I need to make it clear because it can make your life either easy or exceedingly difficult. There are two ways kind of to do ammunition as the way that it fires out of the gun. The first way is to actually have an ammo type for it, like my M79 does have a 40 millimeter grenade, and it does have like an incendiary variant of trying to build a gas grenade for it and all that stuff. I really don't need to. That's just like that extra OCD level type of crap that I do, is get, you know, different grenade types that could be fired from it, even though generally speaking you just want to fucking blow something up and you don't really need it for anything else. The one exception to that might be kind of like the incendiary round, like a white phosphorus, but then I'd have to change all the colors, the blue FX flame and all that kind of stuff like that, light my enemies on fire, and that way I wouldn't be doing like blast damage to stuff inside a room. It'd be very effective against ghouls and stuff like that. I'm not going to be using homemade explosives. The grenade expansion pack 2 I've been playing with endlessly because I've been trying to pull the flashbang out of that very specifically, because I love the flashbang that's in it, as well as a few of the other grenades, gas grenades and stuff. But it's a huge mod, and it's going to absolutely rip your... It's just going to rip your game to pieces. I've tried several different ways to breaking this apart, and I'm still kind of working on that. That's what this BA2 extractor is. I've got it over here, or BAE. So let's see. In my work in progress mods, you would see where I've tried to extract specifically the flash grenade and everything that's associated with it. Then I would have to repack it into its own mod. And then I've got, you know, what I call BEP is better explosives. And I forget why I called it P. But it stands for better explosives, for better locational damage. I just call it BEP. And these would give me all the sounds for the grenades that I would want pulled. But let's not go there because I'm not messing with that. One of the most time-consuming things that you can deal with is trying to get your blast yields and animations and everything when it comes to getting better locational damage to work. But let me finish my point here about how grenade launchers or specific types of weapons do things in the two different ways that the game can apply a weapon effect. So you actually could have the ammo that you would craft at a bench and then switch the ammos out, which is what I prefer. Or with something like the Full-Assad, what it does is you build an attachment to the gun, like that's going to make it fire incendiaries or cryos. Let's see, what does this one fire? So these are the different ones that it would fire, and frag grenade, the armor piercing, the high explosive, the incendiary, the cryogenic, the slug, the shrapnel, and the bouncing grenade round. Now they're all good, but they're not individual grenades. It takes the baseline ammunition that you would have in the Full-Assad and just applies this basically just applies this attachment to it to make it fire that. So I had started down the road of redesigning it so that this grenade launcher and this grenade launcher both fired the same 40mm grenade. Now, that might sound easy, but it's not. Okay. Alright. And then this is the new crafting station explosives workbench. I don't need it because I have the new crafting expanded and all that stuff, but I'm keeping that patch around just in case I want to rip a few things out of it. Okay, my service rifles, everything. So let me just make sure I can get all these things in before I go any further. Alright. Unlimited survival mode. I'm going to go ahead and enable that. I'm at 178. So I'm watching my plugin, my active plugins, because it's going to be important because I'm going to need to have the space to build my own plugins in Fallout 4 Edit. So let's go ahead and open this one up. In my survival configuration menu. And my everyone's best friend patch for that. And basically, so I can have my companion and dog meat with me at all times. Alright, I'm going to add my wheel menu back in. Now, somebody asked me about key bindings the other day, and they couldn't get their key bindings to work properly. You actually have to go into the file paths. And sometimes make manual changes to the wheel menu configuration. Giving it a icon, a name, and then the category. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that. And mostly what takes the time is modifying the damages, making sure that you have the 3 patches that are critical. You need the CKR, rather the AWKCR, which is your crafting. You need everything that's going to make better locational damage. You need everything that's going to make your leveled lists overwrite properly. You're going to need so damage, leveled lists, ammo types, tagging, where it fits in the wheel menu. Now this is a utility. I'm not going to mess with this yet. Leveled list and injector script. This is a utility. This is one that where I actually have to use, instead of using Fallout 4 Edit, I'm going to have to use the one utility I never really like to use, and that would be the creation kit. So I'm going to stay away from that if I can. Now this apparently is going to do some writes for the wheel menu. So let's check this out and see where we are on Nexus Mods today, if there's an update for it. Because the less I have to write myself, the better I'm gonna feel. Let's just do this one. Oh, this is something that had a script that was just kind of sexy, if I remember correctly. So what it does is it allows you to just make your weapons modifications there in the field, where you can just like swap out your barrels and shit right in the field. It's very cool. I'll pull it up so you can see. I would recommend that you check it out if that's your fancy, but I'm not going to mess with it. But you can see here. So I don't like to get too fancy until I'm certain that everything works. So while that's highly neat, it wouldn't apply to all my weapons. I'd actually have to write for whatever they didn't write for. So we ain't going down that road. As cool as it is, it's too much work for now. My EFT style HUD. I'm not exactly sure what this is, so let's check it out. Oops, it's better just to go to your notepad first and then check it out. I don't know what EFT style HUD means, because I like Birate Beck's HUD setup, and I just use that. Because everybody knows that when I play, I don't like to have pretty much anything on my HUD. This is not necessary for me to have. Okay. Alright, all my SKK stuff is going to come in later. Let's check out what SKK has been up to. Because I like to get all of his work. Because even before I've even dreamt it's a good idea, he's made it. Like, it's quite incredible. I'm like, I don't even conceive, hey, this might be a good idea. That's how far ahead he is. I mean, he's on the cutting edge. Okay. So what this does is this is settlement attack system. I think I've already got this in. Yep. What else has he got going on nowadays? This basically turns your settlements against you. I don't need unlimited combat followers. Survival utilities. So this came out in July. Last updated in August. I haven't been around since then. The Omod stripper, that's kind of neat, but I'll just I do all that manually. Mobile workshop, I'm using something different. I'm using the crafting framework. Got the random encounter. Did that ever get updated? Yes, that was in March. Player undead death recovery. No way. When I die, I die. Moving your workshop markers is never really a good idea, in my opinion, unless you really know what you're doing. Feral replacement system. Let's see what that's all about. Now, the dynamic damage manager, I have a version of it, but I don't really use it. Because when you're talking about 50%, 100%, 150% of whatever you have set at your patches for better locational damage, you're going to be throwing your values off wildly. So I do have it, but I'm just not going to activate it. So I've got Survival Utilities 002. Autocomplete some of the initial Minutemen quests. So this is something I need to improve. I've already got that. Combat Settlers was in September, so I better get that. Fallout 476. No, thank you. Hostile companion actions, don't need. I don't need auto unlock because I'm very good at hacking and picking. Natick warehouse settlement to begin with. No, that's alright. The workshop owner utilities. So check the update on that. February 2020, so let's do that. And maybe we'll add a doctor, because the only other one that we can find, that I can find, is that wandering doctor that could appear around Drumlin Diner, or could appear to. She could appear to the west of Concord. And if you don't have bandages and safe blood packs and all that shit early in the game, and you take a hit while you don't have the armor and stuff to withstand when you're just as naked as a baby coming out of the womb, bullets hurt no matter, and better locational damage. They don't, a 7.62 millimeter is a 7.62 millimeter, so. We'll get the update for this. Now, this is fun. But again, it's not something that I would often use. Automatically upgrade base game companion default and shooting purchase amount play level. I think I've got another companion mod that will do this, but let's go ahead and get it anyway. I'm not going to add a whole lot of music in, even though I could. And I don't haul around a lot of junk if really I need be. What I try and do is make everything simple enough in the way that I construct my crafting that it's going to make sense. Just to build it anywhere you can find it in the field. We'll put these patches up because they're going to be new. Okay. Quality of life. Non-intrusive. So I'll get my survival utilities holotape. So I'm not going to use this because I already have the survival it's not survival configuration menu, it's another menu that will basically make it so this affects like all your food, hunger, thirst, rest, stuff like that. The mod that you need for should be under gameplay, I would think. No. I'm just kind of going over what I've been thinking about putting in here. Definitely want no crafting experience. Still keeping an eye on my plugins. It might be within mod configuration menu. Not sure. I'll get it figured out. Oh, it's unlimited survival mode. So that's gonna that would be the one that's I would choose over the SKK tape. Okay, so I'm not gonna need that. It's always a good idea to take a look at the change log. So let's go ahead and get this one. Do I have 09 already? So I'm not going to need survival utilities, so I'm just going to get rid of these. I already have System Manager 09. Not going to need Dynamic Damage Manager, but I'm going to leave it in. I'm just not going to activate it. Feral Replacement System. Dynamically replace ferals with different actors to freshen up engagements. Okay. Why pick up on ferals? As the player moves through the worlds. You want to use your own custom replacement actor. You can use anything in less than 5 minutes. So we'll take a look at this later. Or keep this stuff simple today. No dependencies. That's where you definitely want no dependencies, and you definitely don't want a whole lot of scripts. And then you need to kind of take the pieces that you really need to know. And this would be just notes. And just kind of like keep a little read file just in case you want to look that up a little bit later. That's what I like to do. Read all this on kind of my own time. Let's see what it does.
Engaging hostile life form detected. Curious. Hostile sensor reading detected. Is someone present?
By order of the Institute, you must be destroyed.
Detecting enemy.
At the moment, I'm not really seeing where this is going to be pertinent to the way that I play.
Unit critically hit.
Hold up. I think we're being stalked.
I mean, although it would be very fun to fight your way through College Square against gunners. I love fighting gunners. I don't know if my mic was on, but like I said, it might be fun fighting fighting through College Square with against gunners instead of ferals, because I love fighting gunners, especially with PANPC. I said, I just keep cutting my mic off. I said, well, I'm not going to worry about the other things. I'm just going to get this, so it can be a little something I can ruminate on in my little pea brain. Okay, settlement attack system. So this is the update. Let's check the change log. Player level gating removed is good. That might keep my quest line from breaking. So what version was I running? Settlement attack system. 09. Now we're up to 12, so we're going to go ahead and take that. Okay, combat settlers, change log. So what version do I have for combat settlers? 0.21 or 021. So I'll go ahead and get this. Now, I very rarely ever use these. It's kind of for the purposes of, testing weapons and stuff like that. Making sure everything is in the right place. So I'm going to move this to... I have like a little section where I put my old where I used to, where I kind of put my backup. Maybe that's under, kind of like my backup mods if I don't want to completely delete something. I want to make sure I still have that old version to make sure things are compatible. And I ain't seeing one, so let's add a category. We'll put in unassigned. All right. Workshop utilities. Updated in 2020. So let's take a look at the changelog. I think I have a very old version of that. 13. Yeah. So let's move that to the unassigned. And if everything works, I'll just end up deleting those. So let's go ahead and get the much more recent version. Take a look at a few of these images and see what it's about. SKK does just such clean work. You don't really have to concern yourself too terrible much about it having mod conflicts. So it looks like I'm going to need to probably go back and do some read these articles. So let's just bookmark this. Okay, hostiles. See the changelog. Version 0.25. No updates since 008. So what do I have? hostile spawns, which I do love to use. I like to use combat stalkers, and I like to use hostile spawns. So that's 0.24. So it looks like I'm good on that already. So I got it well past February. Random encounter manager is a must. So the Doc Drumlin by SKK. Now these are fun, so let's open it in new windows. Again, I'll do if I do any expansions, I'll do those later. Sometimes they can be a little bit buggy, and so we're keeping it simple for now. Let's take a look here. I do like an expanded Concord. And I don't think there'd be any harm in having a better drumlin diner. Because that early in the game, you definitely need kind of to have a rally point unless you want to do settlement building. And I'm the kind of guy that doesn't really like to do a whole lot of settlement building if I can get away with it. So what I'm going to do is put this as a manual download. And anything that has to do with kind of area expansions, I'll do them manually. So I'll put this in with I'll just save it right to the desktop until I figure out a better place to put it. Same with this. I do like Beantown. But see, the benefit of doing these manual installs is, yes, I can put them as plugins on my list. After I finish bashing all my weapons and everything together, because that's the only way I'm going to get past the 255 limit. And we'll just put this in the mod manager. There should be no issue. Alright, I'm happy with that. Dynamic workshop time. Change log, because I know I haven't updated this in a while. Still on 09. I should have 09. Nope. Timescale's at 08. And it's up to 06 on that, so we'll get both of these. And move the old one to unassigned. Same thing with this 06, because now he's up to 08. Or my mistake, maybe it's still what the hell did I just have? MCM 006. It's the same. Yeah. Yep. So we'll put that back up here. Now, timescale is real important for when you're at the crafting station or you're building inside of settlements. It also makes like the day to night time stuff work really well. So it's like kind of a little bit of a time suspension while you're building weapons and stuff like that. Time for a little refresh on the tea. I'll be back in just a minute.